All right, so this is part 2 of working on the Rickenbacker. I've taken the truss rod cover off, very large truss rod cover. And unfortunately, it's just a one-way truss rod. So I just found the size that works, and then angle it in, and then made sure it's in neutral, and then tightened it just a little bit. The other thing I do before I'll tighten it, once it's in neutral, I'll just put like a straight edge across, and I'll kind of just get down and just see if there's any rocking, and there is rocking. And I try to see where the seesaw is. Usually it's one fret. So it's the 11th fret that is causing the rocking. And so then what I'm going to do is just kind of tighten the truss rod. And then sometimes when I tighten it, I'll also just kind of do some opposing pressure. So I'll kind of support underneath the nut, and I'll just kind of like push down in a few spots, and just kind of mimics as if you had strung the instrument up again. It would create that type of pressure. And so I kind of feel like it's like when you're putting a shoe on that's snug, you're kind of nudging it the rest of the way. And then what I'm gonna do is look at it again and see if that affected it at all, which it did not. So we'll give it another little turn. Same thing. Use the straight edge. And it's still clicking, so that's good information to keep in mind. And I'm going to loosen it again. I wish it was like a two-way truss rod. That's like really kind of a bummer, but whatever. And the rocking is less with the truss rod totally loose. So I'm just going to snug it so it doesn't rattle. I've already gone through, aside from that, and I've kind of written down some of the high frets. So I just write down the strings, so E, B, G, D, A, E, and then I'll use the little fret rocker. And any high fret, I'm gonna write down under that string. So you can see I've already written down 2, and then a 4 for the 4th fret, and for the 6th fret, the entire fret was high for all the strings. I just do 6 and then arrow straight down, just to indicate that that entire fret is gonna need some work. You could use these little fret guards. They're all right. They feel a little cumbersome to me, but they work sometimes. Sometimes just masking tape works very, very well. So I'm gonna do that here. I am kind of puzzled by the neck angle. To me, it just seems way off. It doesn't feel loose or anything. I'm not really sure how the neck angle is how the neck is attached to the body, but it just seems, the geometry just feels very off to me on this. Seems like the neck is diving too close into the humbuckers or the pickups. It's just kind of creating this weird geometry. So I don't know, I'll do the best I can, do the frets, and then just communicate that with the client, let them know my thoughts. And but anyway, so what I'm gonna do is I use just wet dry sandpaper. This is 600 grit, and what I'm going to do is I kind of rolled up into kind of this firm little shape and keep folding it on itself. It actually creates a nice little tool in and of itself. Then I'm mainly going to focus where the E string is on that side. All the other parts of the fret were fine. And I'm just going to go at different angles. Honestly, I'm not sure if, I don't know the history of this guitar. It looks, maybe it had a fret job before. These frets look really super low and like almost square at the top, like they're, let me draw it here, like they're just basically kind of like that shape, you know. So it's a little puzzling. Again, I don't know all the history of it, and there's not a whole lot of material left either, so I'm just gonna do what I was initially asked to do, and then and give the client my other thoughts on things I've found. So that's another reason I chose 600 grit, because there's not a whole lot of fret wire left. I don't want to go in with like a super abrasive file and then it's going to leave deeper grooves that I then have to like sand even more. So I'll start with 600 grit. Takes a little bit more donkey work, but I think it's fine. And then I'll use a fret rocker and then just kind of place it on the second fret, since that was the high one, and then see how the progress is. And yeah, it still needs some work. So I'm gonna keep doing that until there's no clicking sound on either side of it. The other puzzling thing about this guitar, I feel like the E string is so close to the edge of the fingerboard that when I was just kind of giving it a test run and playing it, like, it's called like falling off the porch. Like, you know, just playing up the fret, the string, the high E string would just kind of bend and fall off the fingerboard and get stuck on the edge. So I don't know, it's kind of puzzling how close that high E is to the end of the fingerboard. Same for the low E, but anyway, just some rambling thoughts. All right, so I'm gonna keep doing this and kind of move my way down the fretboard, and we'll see how things turn up.